So today I'm going to show you how to Kitchener stitch or graft the sole of the baby sock closed. So here's where you'll end up at the end of the pattern with the sole worked and those stitches on a single needle and the stitches left at the side put back on a single needle. So your yarn will be on the back needle at the right edge. We'll thread that onto a yarn needle or wool needle. We do a couple of setup steps first. So what we do is bring the yarn through purlwise on the front needle and leave that stitch on the needle. Then we take the yarn around and go knitwise through the first stitch on the back needle and leave that stitch on the knitting needle. Every time we move the yarn backwards and forwards between the needles, we just want to make sure it's going between the needles and not over the needles. So once we've done those two setup steps, we then get on to the grafting. So step one is take your yarn needle knitwise through the first stitch on the front needle and take that stitch off the needle. We then take it purlwise through the next stitch on the front needle, but this time we leave that stitch on the needle. Then taking it to the back, so take it under the needles like that. We take the yarn purlwise through the first stitch on the back needle and slip that stitch off. Give the yarn a tug, make sure it's all pulled up, and then we go knitwise through the next stitch, but that stitch remains on the needle. So just give it a tug to make sure that it's pulled up, not too firmly, but just enough so there's no loose ends. So there, the 4 steps. We'll go through those again. So we go knitwise through the first stitch on the front needle and slip the stitch off. Then we go purlwise through the next stitch on the front needle and leave that stitch on. Then we go purlwise through the first stitch on the back needle and slip that stitch off. Then we go knitwise through the next stitch on the back needle and leave that stitch on. Just give your yarn a little tug after each time you've worked the steps on each needle. So again, knitwise and off, purlwise, leave on, purlwise, slip off, knitwise, leave on. So knitwise, slip off, purlwise, leave on, purlwise, slip off, knitwise, leave on. So keep doing that across the stitches on your needle until we get to the last few. So again, knitwise through the first stitch on the front needle and slip off, purlwise through the next one, leave on, purlwise through the first stitch on the back needle and take off, knitwise and leave on. And you get into a little bit of a rhythm as you go, and you can see what it looks like once you've done a little bit of it. So we'll keep going. On the front, knitwise, slip off, purlwise, leave on. On the back, purlwise, slip off, knitwise, leave on. And you just need to be careful as you get less stitches on these needles. They can feel a bit like they're going to slip off, so just keep a firm grip and a bit of control over where they are sitting on your needle, so you may not want them right at your tips. So keep working that way. Until you get one stitch left on both needles. You just need to be careful. You can see there I've just hooked that over my needle. Nearly there. Oops. I perhaps could have left a slightly longer end. So we're getting down to the last stitches, so it's knitwise on the front and off, purlwise, leave on, purlwise on the back and take off, and knitwise on the back needle and leave on. Sorry, my end is just a little bit short. And then we have 2 stitches left on our needles, so it's knitwise through the front and slip off, and purlwise through the back and slip off. So when you're finished, you'll see you have a nice line of grafted stitches. All you need to do is pop your end through to the wrong side. Give that a little pull. That's what it looks like with the end threaded through to the wrong side. Now if you take your sock through to the wrong side, the only ends that you'll have to sew in will be this one that you just grafted with, the cream where it started, the mauve where it finished, and the mauve where you cast on your stitches. So it's very easy to finish. And that's it. Enjoy your knitting.